This is the second video in our series on AP World History Unit 0, Prologue, History Before 1200. And in this part, we're going to focus on humanity during the migratory stage. Again, this is going to follow the prologue chapter in your book and the notes that you took on the study guide. So please make sure that you have that out. So, overall, in this unit, we want to understand that early humans developed new processes. Global processes, remember, are patterns, technology, and methods used to survive and prosper. And we also want to see how these processes affected human life. So, in hunting and gathering, we're going back to the beginning of humanity and we're understanding about how migratory humans who depended upon moving around in their environment for food, how they developed political, innovative, environmental, cultural, economic, and social processes to survive and prosper. So as you take notes, pay attention to how people lived during this time and what was the effect. So the main new process that these people during this time developed is called hunting and gathering. So humans during this age use hunting and gathering to survive and prosper. And they lived a very simple, as compared to today, but also a very advanced life. This is an early human during this time period. And the success and the development of global processes essentially depend upon this guy. How does this guy survive during this time period? He basically migrates from place to place, following the food supply. Men going out and hunt, women gathering food that grew wild. And what's going to make this person successful and humans successful over animals is going to be their ability to think critically, to solve problems. Humans have the gift to solve problems that they face within their life and to come up with new ways, new processes to make their life better. So, the question that I want to address is, were people who lived during this hunting and gathering time, were they very advanced? So we start off with migration. And just to kind of briefly summarize this, humanity started in Africa, shaded in red, and migrated throughout, first of all, Africa, later the Middle East, into Europe, through South Asia, into North Asia, into North America. And as they moved, they were able to adapt to their environment. They had to move because humans at this point had not learned how to control their own food supply. So humans are very migratory. So one thing that you should be picking up on right now is that they were not able to carry around a lot of stuff, and they didn't have permanent structures. But they did develop global processes to make sure that they survived as a group. So these are some pictures that represent how they kind of survived and prospered. So we start off with the upper right, the guy. And usually when you talk about government, you're looking at the strongest and the smartest male leading the society. And what he's doing is he's making sure that people did their jobs to make sure that the groups survived. When you look at innovation, the main innovations are going to be fire. You see the little fire in the center. But also they came up with certain pictures that represented certain animals to tell stories, early culture. And also they used stone, wood, and bone to make their tools. As you can see by the picture in the upper central, they did have some semi-permanent shelters. Now, these humans, they depended upon the environment 100%. And what they're doing, as you see the picture on the left, is they're picking food that grew naturally in their environment, and they're also hunting the animals in their environment. Now, if the environment did not provide this, they would simply move on. And they would follow through their migrations the herds as they moved, but also the natural contours, moving to areas where the geography could support life. Culture, they did have some religious beliefs. They were animistic, as your book said. And what we mean by animism is we assign certain spirits to all living things. So as we look at these pictures, everything living would have some sort of a spirit associated with it. When you talk about economics, obviously they depended upon their environment, but there was also trade between groups, simple barter, where if somebody had a little bit extra food, they might trade it for an animal skin or a tool. Social, as your book says, they were very egalitarian, meaning equal, but we do have the beginnings of patriarchy. So, all in all, my question is through this hunting and gathering, were they advanced? And the answer is for the time period, yes. They did have developed global processes in the form of governments, innovations, adapting to and changing the environment, culture, economics, and social structures that allowed the small groups between 12 and 30 to survive and live off the land. But the other thing is they're not very advanced because you're not looking at a great deal of possessions or a great deal of scientific development because literally you're spending between 3 and 5 hours a day hunting for food. And the rest of the day is spent on preparing the food and doing other things. Also, you might be walking. So, this hunting and gathering is simply something the way humans survived and prospered. Okay, this brings us to the end of part 2. In part 3, we're going to see some big changes.